which is the recent development which has been happening in Kenya. As most of you are aware, if you don't know what eTeams is, but I'm sure most of you who have attended this training have heard about it, and they've come to this webinar to learn more about what is eTeams and how they are or you are affected by it. So, without further ado, I'll get right into the gist of it. So, I'll start by just an introduction of what eTeams is and its background, how it came about. So, as you have all witnessed, KRA has been making technological advances so as to improve their tax collections and reduce the reliance on debt. With this, VAT is one of the biggest catchments of funds to the government. In Kenya, currently, number one is pay as you earn, followed by VAT. But in practice, in most developed economies, VAT should always be the first contributor to the government's tax revenue. But in Kenya, we find that it always lags behind pay as you earn. So basically, so that to cut the lag which is there, the government is improving their system so as to remove more text sheets from the system to improve the collection. So, as I mentioned, before in 2022, we found that we were hearing about teams. Most of, in fact, all of the VAT taxpayers had to move their machines, they had to upgrade their machines, buy new ones, to buy new ETR machines, which were able to transmit data to KRA on a real-time or near real-time basis, which were uniquely generating a QR code on the ETR. So all taxpayers, VAT taxpayers, had to move on to get those machines, and a majority of VAT taxpayers complied with that requirement. However, there was a certain percentage of people who could not afford to buy those machines, for which now KRA, so as to get them on the compliance level as well, KRA came up with this system of eTeams, which is a software solution, and it is basically, it can be installed on any device and it is free of charge. So, taxpayers, as I mentioned, they can access eTeams on various computing devices, such as mobile phones is accessible. They can even access it on a laptop or you'd say a tablet or all that. Any PDAs is accessible. So that's the advantage of eTeams. So some of the objectives of eTeams were it is so that invoices are real-time validated, and so that basically the clients and the traders, they all get their information transmitted to KRA on a real-time basis. So KRA is already aware of which invoices you have done. Number two is improving the accuracy in automated VAT data management. Basically, the whole goal of KRA is to have auto-populated VAT returns, which is that your return is already pre-filled with whatever you purchased and whatever you sold. So in terms of uh, that compilation, eTeams will really enhance that aspect of the pre-filled return. It also minimizes VAT fraud through the verification of invoices through the eTeams and the QR code, which is normally printed on the invoice. It is also so as to standardize the whole process of VAT. Everyone is on the same clean slate. And as I mentioned, the simplified return filing, which is now that once this eTeams is really active and everyone is following through, we'll find that we don't know in practice how long this will take for all VAT taxpayers to be on eTeams. However, once this is through, you'd find that you can just go on iTax, you download your pre-filled VAT return, you just confirm if everything is in order, and you can go to file. So it reduces the effort and the burden now to fill in the return, clean, input your purchases, which sometimes you had to outsource. Now you can do it yourself. So e-teams basically it is, although there is a lot of negative vibes about e-teams in the market. However, there is some benefits which will be brought on through e-teams. Some of them will just mention cost. There is basically e-teams is a free software. There is no charges or anything which you need to pay for it. So the the burden of now going to buy an ETR machine when you're just starting a business to get VAT registration is gone. Now you can get your business registered, get it VAT registered, and you can start invoicing through the e-team. So this will increase the compliance in terms of a VAT level. The second benefit, as I've mentioned, also is simplified VAT return. Filing return will be quite straightforward and with minimal effort. And then this one will cover later. There's flexibility in the solutions available, and it is available on various devices. In the slides which will go on, we'll look at what are the options which you have on eTeams, which modules you can get on eTeams, and basically how to get you if you want to register today on eTeams, how you yourself can register on eTeams today. And the final benefit is there's an inventory module which has been integrated into eTeams, which basically helps you track your inventory. So you always, instead of now buying a POS system, you can track your inventory on eTeams, which further adds on to the benefit of cost. So this one, I've just attached a screenshot of the public notice, which was just recently gazetted, which was to put it into effect that from January 2024, which is that from this month, when we'll be filing in February, the simplified VAT return filing will be effected. So when you are filing for your return for January, make sure you go and check on your iTax. There's an option of download auto-populated return. Download that auto-populated return and check if whatever has been populated on the automated return matches with your record. And this will be effective first this month. So this is just something which everyone needs to be aware of, and they check through it. So I'll just now deep dive a bit in what are the solutions which are available on eTeams, because it's not like a one-fit-all solution for everyone. There's a different option for different categories of business. So basically, the first solution is the online portal. This has been tailored for specifically for the service sector. They don't deal in inventory, they're just dealing in invoicing of services. So basically, they're not maintaining any stocks. So the online portal is a very simple way to sign up. We'll look at the steps how to sign up in the next slide. So, but it's a very straightforward way to sign up on eTeams. You create a username and a password similar to how you would log in into a social media site. You just log in with your credentials and you can start invoicing from the online portal. So that's the simplest solution which is available on eTeams. The second solution which is available is eTeams Client. This is basically a downloadable software which has been designed for taxpayers who deal in both services as well as goods. So this can be, even if you don't want to use the online portal and you're just dealing in services, you could still opt to get the eTeams Client, which is the downloaded software on your computer or your personal device. But if you're trading in goods, you don't have the option of signing up on the online portal. You have to get the eTeams Client. This one, the eTeams Client can also support multiple branches and various deals. So this is for a bit bigger businesses who would have multiple branches, as well as they deal in inventory and all that. The third solution which is available is called the virtual sales control unit. Basically, this is for companies who have an ERP system. So basically, you see, for eTeams client, it would mean that you're going to invoice from KRA system. But there are clients who will not want to go to KRA system to invoice. They will want, because of they have so many bulky transactions and they have an ERP system specifically designed for them, they will want to continue using their ERP. So for them, there is a solution called Virtual Sales Control Unit, which is integrated with their ERP. So it seamlessly links with the ERP and you can invoice through your ERP. So you don't need to do double work, whereby you're also invoicing from the eTeam software as well as invoicing from the ERP. So it's to enhance easier invoicing and compliance. And the last option which is available is online sales control unit. So basically, the online sales control unit is for individuals who use an online accounting system. Basically, something like QuickBooks Cloud or Zoho or Zero. So basically, these softwares have been integrated with eTeams so that they're also linked. You don't need to go and do double work on both ends. So I'll just take you through of how to onboard on eTeams. This is just a quick go through of if you're interested in getting eTeams today, what's the process? So step number one is to go to eteams.kra.go.ke. Once you're on that website, there's an area whereby you can sign up. So it's similar to you can select your PIN, you put your PIN number, you create a password, and you can create an account. So basically, once you're on that website, you need to create an account if you don't already have one. The third step is so that the fourth step which goes is that very data which you have inputted is now being verified by KRA, that the PIN details match with what is and the password matches with what your iText password is. The fourth step, what is it? So that for security reasons, someone doesn't register an eTeams account on your PIN when you're not aware. There is an OTP code which you receive on your iText registered number. So whatever number you've registered with on your iText, you'll get an OTP code to confirm that you've received the code, and you need to input that code on the eTeams website. Once you have inputted the eTeams OTP into the OTP onto the eTeams website, it takes you to the next step, which will now be you need to upload some documents for verification. So for in a company, you need to upload at least one director's ID and the company CR12. So as well as there is a commitment form which you need to have filled and signed it, which you also need to upload it onto the eTeams portal. So once you have uploaded that, it goes to KRA's end. It normally takes a day or two for them to get approved, and you can now start using your eTeams portal. So I've just given a sample of what an eTeams invoice looks like. So this is a very standard template of invoice. You do not have the option of customizing your invoice. Basically, it will still come with that line of KRA on the top left side of the invoice, which you cannot remove it. You cannot put your logo on it. This is this is basically, as I mentioned, this is for most smaller businesses who don't mind having this kind of an invoice. But for more bigger businesses, they'll want to have their customized invoices, which they can only get it through having the virtual sales control unit or the online sales control unit. Through the KRA software, the which you can download it on your computer. This is even from the online system, all invoices look like these ones. So the QR code is verifiable. You can scan the QR code just to ensure that the supplier who has given you the invoice is genuine and the ETR can be claimed on your input return. because these days we are finding a lot of fake invoices whereby when you go to claim those invoices on your return, you find that this PIN is not registered for VAT, or you'd find that that customer has already been blocked from filing his VAT return. So you see, all those things have been really worrying VAT taxpayers that, I can get an invoice today, and then when I go to claim it, I find that I can't claim it. So I've basically that whole VAT, I've lost it. So I think with these developments such as e-teams, and initially was Teams enabled machine, we are going one step ahead to resolve these issues we are facing. And also, just one thing I wanted to point out is whenever you get an invoice, it's always sometimes, especially when you're dealing with new suppliers, it's always good practice to go on iTax, and where I've highlighted the second yellow invoice number checker. Always input the invoice number from a new supplier so that you know that this supplier is registered for VAT and is genuine. Just go to iTax. On the homepage, there's an invoice number checker. You- When you put the control unit number, control invoice number, which has been printed on the invoice, it's printed on both. It's even printed on the Teams ETRs, as well as it's also printed on the e-teams. Because you see, e-teams invoices can also be edited on a Word document, and someone can send you an edited document, which is not genuinely from e-teams. So it's always good. You can just go to invoice number checker. You check that invoice number to on iText. It will give you all the details of that supply. It will give you the invoice amount, the name of the supplier, the date of the invoice, amount exclusive VAT, inclusive VAT. So you'll get all the details about that invoice, and you can confirm that to your physical invoice which you have in hand. So basically, you see, the Finance Act, just to give you some backstory on the exemption, the Finance Act 2023 clearly stated that all taxpayers need to have onboarded e-teams by 1st of January 2024. So basically, there was quite a bit of confusion in the taxpayers that now are non-vettable businesses also required to register on VAT. So, but yes, they were required to register on e-teams, which, however, just recently in January, KRA have exempted them from joining. So all businesses which are below the threshold of 5 million turnover per year are exempted from joining e-teams, and a different system be will be kind of brought to this segment, and they will be obliged to use that, and they've extended the deadline up to 1st of March 2024. So KRA has about 2 months of time to bring forth that system and see how it can be implemented by all these micro small businesses. So I think this is a big relief for smaller businesses who would have to have, in terms of administrative burden costs, as well as if they do not hold a device which they can install e-teams onto, it would have been an issue acquiring those devices, if it's a laptop or if it's a smartphone. So it is still a cost to a lot of micro SMEs. So at least for now, that's a relief for them that they've been given that exemption up to March, and a different system which will be devised for them, which will be simpler than what e-teams is. So after that, basically, this is just to explain more about what AdamG Auditors does. Before I go into it, I can just have a question and answer session if anyone has some questions regarding e-teams and they would like to get them answered.
Do we have any questions? You can either raise your hand or use the chat box feature So for now, CPM Osin, I can't see any questions.
Okay, so I'll just proceed as we wait for any questions which come along. Or is there something in the chat? I can't seem to open it from my end.
Yes. So Effie of the Ambo is asking, hi, if you are already on Teams, do you need to onboard Teams again, e-Teams again?
No, you do not. You don't need to. If you are Teams compliant, you're compliant, and you don't need to move to eTeams.
Thank you. Mr. Hassan is asking in regards to TOT, if my business sales in year fall under 5 million.
So no, basically, you see what before everyone was obliged to go on eTeams, but just recently last week, KRA did a press briefing that they've exempted individuals who are below 5 million shillings turnover per year to be joining on eTeams, and a different system will be devised. So it's not yet, announced by KRA the details of that system which they will create for the smaller taxpayers below 5 million, but we are still to wait. But for now, you can get that relief that you don't need to comply with eTeams as of now.
Thank you, CPM Hussein. Do we have any further questions? Amos Ogutu is asking if we have customers who are not registered for VAT required to onboard on eTeams.
Yes, so you see, like in that case, we are finding a lot of vague, the conflicting acts, basically, even in terms of statutory acts, the conflicting acts, which have made this situation very difficult, because you see, the Finance Act was very clear that from 1st January 2024, only expenses which will be generated from eTeams will be claimable in terms of your income tax as well. But now we are finding that now the 1st January, most small taxpayers, there was another press briefing. I saw that the KRA senior manager was on a TV channel whereby she said that only 6,000 taxpayers, small taxpayers, have onboarded e-teams out of 600,000. So it's like 1% of people have actually joined on e-team. So it's not practical implementing that Finance Act, but I think going forward down the line, for now, I think they'll have to exempt, they'll still have to allow expenses not generated from e-teams, because even now the system for the smaller taxpayers is not ready, and we don't know when it will be ready. So I think there will be some allowance there.
Thank you, CPA. Thank you, CPA Mohsin. We don't have any further questions on the chat box. Perhaps you can proceed from here, and then we'll take any further questions that are coming. Or I can see Mercy has asked, suppose I have a small business dealing in taxi hire services and need to onboard eTeams, what will be the best option? Question number 2, will I still need a dedicated device for the software, or is there a web-based version?
As I mentioned, there are 4 modules. There is an online version which you can use. You just log in into it, like how you log in into any site. You have your username and your password, which you can use to log in. So that is an option which you have. You also have an option of downloading the software onto devices, whereby, but I think it with a taxi business, it would be difficult, because now difficult to give each rider device where they can be generating the eTeams invoices from. However, I think the online portal can make sense, whereby someone just logs in, because for service businesses, the online portal works, because that is, you don't need to track inventory. So that can be an option for you. And I think that will be the cheapest and simplest option for you.
Thank you, CPA. You can proceed from there. We have no further questions. Thank you.
Thanks. So I'll just quickly take you through who we are as ADAMG auditors. So basically, myself, as Johan mentioned, I'm the partner at ADAMG Auditors. We also have Juzer, who's a partner. We have Dennis in our team as well, and then Josefa Adamali. We have offices both in Nairobi and Mombasa. Our services include audit and assurance, tax services. We have a range of tax services. We provide training options. So if you're a corporate and you have staff and you want your team to be trained on e-teams, we can provide dedicated account, and we have a detailed training as well, which is coming. It will be a thorough training on how to use e-teams and how to adopt to e-teams and all that. So if you're interested, you can always contact us. We have accounting and advisory services. We also have offshore accounting services as well as different advisory services. So why us? We have international expertise. Our affiliation with Sapphire International amplifies our commitment to providing unparalleled services. We provide tailored solutions, so we're not a one fit all for all clients. We provide tailored solutions for each client separate. We have expert trainers on board who are CPA qualified, who are accountants, so they can steer your company on the right track. And we have a practical application aspect as well to our trainings, because being an audit and tax firm as well, we experience the issues which are being faced by you also on a daily basis. So we are more practical in our trainings rather than being theoretical. If anyone needs to contact us, our contacts are on this page. You can go to our website, see what we have, which trainings are coming. If you're interested in doing some more trainings, you can also just email us, and we'd be happy to help you out. I think with that, Joanne, if there is any other questions?
Yes, thank you so much, CP Mohsin. Do we have any further questions regarding KRA teams? So CP Mohsin, I can't see any other questions. Again, feel free to raise up your hand in case you'd like to speak. Okay, I can't see any further questions. I can't see also any raised hands. Thank you so much for attending the free webinar today. Like we promised, we have shared our training calendar. You can be able to see it on the chat box. Feel free to contact us so that we can be able to share with you more information about our trainings and any upcoming events that we have. Otherwise, that is it from us. Thank you so much for attending, and we wish you a good afternoon. Thank you. So you feel free to leave at your pleasure. Thank you.